Say, friend, have you heard the good news? Can you spare a moment for your Lord and Savior? The pregnant possum carcass I found behind the Stop and Save? No! So like I mentioned in the first part of this tutorial, the Trash Lord begins the game asleep, face down in the center of the table. The Trash Lord is awakened when one of two things happens. The first thing card is stashed, or the first trashling is drawn. The first player to stash a thing card must turn the Trash Lord token face up and rotate it so that the Lord's glorious snout is pointed directly at them. Very important note, the Trash Lord always points directly at the actual human player in real life, not their crusty cards or tokens. The second way the Lord can be awakened is by drawing a trashling card. If a trashling is drawn before anyone has stashed a thing, the player who drew it must flip the Trash Lord face up and point it at themselves. In either case, the player who awakened the Lord does not have to pay a tithe for doing so. More on tithing in a sec. Once the Trash Lord has been awakened, it remains in play for the rest of the game and will always be pointing at one of the players, provided that they're still alive and in the game. Now let's talk about all those tiny cards. There are four kinds of cards you'll find when you dig in the dumpsters: things, scrap, keepers, and trashlings. Like I said in the previous video, there are four things in the game: snacks, smokes, booze, and dope. And you need one of each thing in your stash before you can summon the Trash Lord. You can also trash things to use their effect. When you draw a thing card, add it to your hand. Whenever you discard a thing card, whether it's voluntary or otherwise, you can put it in any of the three dumpsters discard piles. Your choice. This allows you to kind of stack the decks a little bit, I guess. Next we have scrap cards. Scrap cards have a black background and feature a biohazard symbol in the bottom left-hand corner. When you draw a scrap card, resolve it immediately and then discard it in the discard pile of the dumpster that it originally came from. So let's say you dig in this dumpster and draw this card. You'll read it aloud and each player will choose a card from their hand, if they have one, and give it to the player sitting to their right. Once everyone who can pass a card has done so, the scrap card has been resolved and it's discarded. If a scrap card's effect isn't currently relevant, then it has no effect. So for example, if you draw Banjo Time and none of the players have any cards in their hand, then it has no effect and it's simply discarded. But if only one player, let's say, has a card in their hand, that player still has to pass their card. Next we've got keepers. Keepers look a lot like scrap cards, except they have a white background and a peace symbol in the bottom left-hand corner. If you draw a keeper, add it to your hand. You can play keeper cards from your hand anytime that their effect is relevant, even if it's in the middle of someone else's turn. And playing a keeper card does not count as one of your actions. When a keeper card is discarded for any reason, you can put it in any dumpster's discard pile. Once again, your choice. Some keepers are just useless garbage. These cards have no effect, but you still have to add them to your hand, and they come in handy when you need to discard or pass shit to other players. Finally, there's trashlings. Trashlings are critters who live in the dumpsters and serve the will of the Lord. When a trashling is drawn, it's immediately discarded at the dumpster that it originally came from, and whichever player the Trash Lord is pointing at pays a tithe. Important note, if the Trash Lord is already awake, it's irrelevant which player actually draws the trashling card. The only player who has to pay the tithe is the one the Trash Lord is currently pointed at. So if the Trash Lord is pointing at you when a trashling card is drawn by any player, you must choose and discard one thing from your stash, not your hand, your stash. If you don't have any things in your stash, you have to give up 1 HP to cover the tithe. And yes, this can kill you, but maybe you should have spent more time panhandling and less time diddling your junk.
I blame society. Society made me what I am.
That's bullshit. You're a white suburban punk, just like me.
So once the player has paid the tithe, rotate the Trash Lord so it points to the player on their left. If your crusty dies for any reason while the Trash Lord is pointing at you, rotate the Lord to point at the player to your left. The Trash Lord has no use for the dead, as they've already come home to glory. Alright, recap. If you draw a thing or a keeper, add it to your hand. Things can be stashed or trashed on your turn. Keepers can be played anytime they're relevant and they don't count as an action. When you discard a thing or a keeper for any reason, you can put it in any dumpster's discard pile, your choice. If you draw a scrap or a trashling, resolve it immediately and always discard it in the discard pile of the dumpster it was drawn from. Trashlings demand a tithe from whichever player the Trash Lord is currently pointing at. The player must discard one thing from their stash, and if they can't, they lose 1 HP. The Lord is then rotated to point at the player on their left. There's one other type of card in the game: Blessings. Blessings can only be found when you're at the altar. In order to get a blessing card, you have to use an action to make a sacrifice, which means discarding one card from your hand. Put the sacrifice card in the dumpster discard pile of your choice. Do not put it in the altar's discard. That's for blessings only. Once you've done that, draw a blessing card and add it to your hand. Blessing cards work the same way as keepers. You can play them anytime they're relevant, even during someone else's turn, and it doesn't count as an action. Once they've been resolved, they're always discarded at the altar, not in a dumpster. 3 of the cards in the Blessing deck are summon cards. Once you have all 4 things in your stash, you win the game by going to the altar and using an action to play a summon card. When a dumpster's deck is depleted, shuffle its discard to form a new deck, and that includes all the cards from other dumpsters that have been discarded there. And the same goes for the Blessings deck. When it's depleted, just shuffle its discard, if there is one, to form a new deck. Now, the point of all this shit. To win the game, you must either be the first to summon the Trash Lord, or be the last Krusty standing. And if you're playing with 5 players, we recommend using a slightly altered version of the rules. It's not required, but if you play 5 players with the standard rules, the game takes a lot longer to finish and probably won't be as fun. But maybe you're into that kind of thing. I don't know. You do you kinky fuck. So in a 5-player game, you only need 3 things in your stash before you can summon the Trash Lord: snacks, smokes, and dope. Booze cards can't be stashed, but you can still trash them to start a fight, and trashing a booze card doesn't count as an action. Other than that, just play the game normally. There are 2 optional venues included with the game: the street corner and the vacant lot. They're printed on opposite sides of the same cards, so if you want to play with both venues in the same game, you'll need to print one of them off of our website. Or you could just write vacant lot on an index card, because honestly, who fucking cares? Art is bourgeois bullshit. If you skitch into the vacant lot and there's already another Krusty there, you have to fight them. No booze card is required, it doesn't count as an action, but it is mandatory. Think of it like Crust Punk Highlander. There can only be one. Trust fund kid gentrifying homelessness for the sake of a niche music genre. If you play with the street corner, it becomes the only venue where players are allowed to panhandle. The rules for panhandling stay the same, but you won't be able to do it anywhere other than the street corner. If you check out our webpage, you can find some ideas for alternative board layouts and a page for squat rules, variations on the game's rules so you can fuck it up and have some fun with it. And there's a submission option too, so if you've got some suggestions for fun squat rules or layouts, send them to us and we'll post them and credit you for your stupid idea. Oh, and we also made YouTube playlists for all 12 characters in the game, so you can have a nice atmospheric soundtrack to listen to while you're rooting around in the trash. That's it for the rules, but we recorded some short gameplay examples with some drunk dorks at the bar, just in case you're still having some trouble grasping the intricate complexities of our game about worshipping roadkill and eating pizza out of the trash. Mensa, if you're listening, our seal of approval seems to have gotten lost in the mail. You might want to look into that. Thank you very much.
I'm Ryan, one of the idiots who made this game, and I'm playing as Deidre and Todd.
I'm Jack. I'm playing just Randy.
My name's Kay. I play as Swamp Gas and Critter. What's up? I don't want to say anything.
To the Trash Lord.
To the trash.
Living proof that system works. That system works for them. Spend your hard-earned money. Not support their time.
I love Long John Silver.
Alright, first thing I'm gonna do is stash 2 things. It's 1 action.
I was trying to stay out of it.
It's facing that way. Just kidding. Just flop it on the table.
3,
Yeah, I would, but I
4.
can't.
I smell like the back alley of like a bingo parlor.
Even my mom.
I did eat half a potato. Please shut my mouth, slap your grandma.
One. And a panhandle. And a move. And a dig. You got the moves now.
Oh, I'm feeling it.
No, this was like
Oh,
2
no.
weeks worth of fucking shoe stain.
I don't actually, because I don't think I've ever played it when I wasn't
Yeah.
drunk.
Nor have I. That's why I still don't remember how.
So if you didn't
Wait,
catch
has
that,
anyone here ever played this game sober?
Oh no.
Radis is homebody right now.
He's just cooling his jets. He's trying to get his shit together.
You know none of us are going to get our shit together.
One,
Well, I do have like a 401k plan.
2.
I have a lot of stock in REI.
And 2. I can roll for the thing, right?
Yeah.
Panhandle, yeah.
anytime. Oh,
That was a bad idea.
And I am genius at that. So I go home and I give up this.
And it ends your turn. Oh man.
God
oh
damn
shit.
it.
I have all the drugs and then I lose them all. It's kind of my thing.
My mom would be like, "You smell like a casino carpet."
Because my parents bought my CDs and it was always country.
You dropped one.
Here's some napkins for your
But
pizza
Dungeons
hands.
and Dragons was so different than this shit.
Was something Tomo?
Yeah.
Tomo.
Tomo.
I'm gonna dig.
It's the coolest name ever.
Move.
I keep wanting to call him Tomy because of this
I'm
book
gonna
that I
sacrifice to give myself a blessing. So that's 3, 4. That's
Do it. It's so good.
Smells like pizza place chicken. It's just the grossest kind of chicken.
Three.
Why are you trying to be healthy with your pizza? Why don't you just
So
get up and
good.
die?
Chicken is healthy?
Chicken is healthy.
I have tips, and there's a camera.
Alright, I'm gonna play this blessing. Discard your hand.
I haven't done.
Doesn't matter.
Discard my whole
Okay,
hand.
in the middle of somebody
Son
else's.
of a bitch.
I can do it anytime I feel like it. I'm doing it right now.
Player
Oh,
picks
there's
cards.
drugs. You had 2 drugs? What the fuck?
How'd you get so many drugs?
Yeah, how'd you get so many
We never
drugs? What's
had
up?
too many drugs.
Who's your dope man?
Dude in Dallas. He has like a hole in the side of his apartment, so he sticks his hand out, like takes the money and gives me coke.
Whoa.
What's a good strategy?
Chicken nuggets on a Friday night. Cool. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to cash in my Skitch to Any Venue card
Scooch home.
and use my 4th action to. So,
What's up? Hit.
1,
Hit.
1. 1,
One. Shit.
1.
One.
1.
Nothing.
Yeah!
Damn.
Suck it, critter.
Nothing.
None.
Okay. One.
2.
Is there only 6s right there, or is it
5.
You got him, Katie. You got him.
Man.
One.
2.
Oh.
Sup, swamp ass.
What
Yeah.
on top like that?
Deidre and Todd win the game.
Okay.
Show us your shit.
Yeah, I fucked you the way that we fucked Bernie. How about
No,
that?
show us your shit.
Eat shit. You're the bad guy.
Here, I'm gonna kill myself unless you turn this fucking music.
I win.
God damn it. Declare yourself.
I am the Trash Lord.
No, the Trash Lord's one true glorious trash show.
I'm the Trash Lord's one true glorious trash show. Woo!
Yeah, this is a terrible instructional situation.
Fuck off! Fuck you! Fuck your this! Your anger plays part! It doesn't mean bad!